Namaskaram. I missed 2 days, the usual excuses or problems. Anyway, my only prayer is that I shouldn't miss more than one day now and then. Anyway, let us continue with Mahabharatam, the Tirthayatra Parvam. We just finished the story of Pativrata, the story of the lady who had her power simply because of her devotion to her husband. The Kaushika Brahmin, who had a lot of power through long years of meditation, he, by just looking at angrily at a crane, it fell down dead. Then he was very proud of his power, and he was defeated by a lady, a Pativrata. That we finished. And she asked this Kaushika to go to a Dharma Vyadha in Mithila. Vyadha is normally a hunter, but here it is a butcher. Probably it means a butcher also. And Dharma Vyadha because he was well versed in dharmas. That's the story we are going into. There isn't much story anyway. This Kaushika went to Mithila. Mithila is the capital of the Videha kingdom, in which Janaka, Sita's father in Ramayanam, was the ruler for a long time. He was known to be a great philosopher king. He was more known better as a philosopher than a ruler. Anyway, one thing, in olden times, great kings always attracted, besides people from other walks of life, they attracted great scholars. So Mithila was also a center for knowledge. Incidentally, Mithila appears to be located in present-day Nepal, the lower eastern, that is southeastern part of Nepal. Anyway, that is by the by. And Kaushika went to Mithila, must have walked all the way, and after a lot of walking, reached Mithila, asked people around for the Dharma Vyadha. And it was very easy because everybody knew. If they didn't know where Dharma Vyadha exactly is, they could give a direction, and gradually he located. The butcher had a shop where he was selling meat. He says to the Brahmins, Christians, that he doesn't kill animals. People kill and bring the meat to him, and he sells the meat. Anyway, and Kaushika asks him various questions on Dharma, and he gives clear answers. To one of his questions, Dharma Vyadha says Shruti pramanami dharma natre vruddha shasanam. It is said that this dharma, this Sanatana dharma, which is Hinduism, has its foundation on Vedas, Shruti Pramanam. The authority is Veda. That means whenever there is a dispute on a point, you can refer to Veda and get the authority from it. Sukshmam dharmattindavoku bahushakam anandamam. The dharma's ways are very fine. So one has to be very careful. Bahushakam anandamam. It is vast in its scope and it has got many branches. And at elsewhere he says about telling the truth. The Vyadha says, Prananashattilum Velikkayum Poliparanyedam. Though to say the truth is one of the tenets of Sanatana Dharma, at the same time it says that when one's life is in danger, it is allowed to tell a lie, to save his own life. And that won't become a sin. Similarly, if to get one's daughter wed, if he has to tell a lie, even that is allowed, it says. Like that, to various questions. At some other place about Jivan, about life, it says, Jivan nashikil udalmaridumpo tettanu chakkenna vimudhavadam. When at death, it's only the body which dies. The Jivan, the soul, doesn't die. The usage of the word death is wrong, he says. Dehantaram pundugamitpu jivan panchatvamagunnu sharira bhedam. It is the body which panjatva means it turns into the five basic elements. That is Prithvi, Apa, Tejo, Vayu, Rakasham. Prithvi is earth, water, air, the sky and ether. Akasham or sky. Basic elements. The earth is is dispersed into these basic elements. The Jivan, the soul, the Ahantaram Bundu Gimipu Jivan, it goes to it goes to heaven or to the world of the main, that is the Pitraloka. And from there, those souls which go to Pitralokam, they take rebirth. We have mentioned somewhere, I think, through rain they fall back to earth and they sprout as plants. Animals eat the plants and humans eat the animals, or humans directly eat the plants or the fruits and vegetables. That is this. Like that, these are all to his various questions. The Dharma Vyadha gives replies. To finally, before we proceed, when Kaushika Brahmin went to Vyadha, he said, "Yeah, I have been expecting you." and the Brahmin was surprised. And he explained, you don't have to be surprised because I know this, I have this insight because of what I do. It will come later on that he looks after his parents very well, and that gives him these powers. This is one of the Trikala Jnana, to know about the future. Of course, about the past is relatively easy. The present is easy, and the future is what is difficult. And this Vyadha gets that knowledge with the blessing of his parents. Yeah. Finally, the butcher takes a Brahmin to his house, and there they went to the room where his parents were seated in proper beds, and Vyadha prostrates before them, and they bless him, and the Brahmin was introduced to Vyadha's parents. They bless the Brahmin also. And then Vyadha says, it is because of their blessing I have this knowledge about Dharma with all the ramifications, and I also have these special gifts. And he says he takes very good care of them. He bathes them, helps them to dress, and feeds them, washes them. Whatever all their needs, he looks after them. He worships them like gods, and he says he doesn't worship anybody else. Even he has no other gods. His parents are pratyaksha daivam, gods in person. And then the Dharma Vyadha concludes saying that what you are doing now to the Brahmin, what you are doing is wrong. You have left your parents somewhere, leaving them unlooked after, and you are now chasing to find out what Dharma is. It's all wrong. Your primary duty is to take care of them. Go back to them. Don't spend time on meditation and all that. That's not necessary. It doesn't pay. So go back to your parents and look after them. That was his advice. And with that, this story of Dharma Vyadha ends. It is a story, Brahmana Vyadha Samvadam. It goes into a dozen chapters. All this sort of queries on Dharma and Vyadha's replies. After that, there is a parvam, subparvam, called Angirasopakhyanam, the story of Agni, the fire god. It talks about various types of fire, and the birth of Subramanya, who was in one way supposed to be son of Agni, in another way the son of Shiva. It's a very bizarre story, the birth of Subramanya. I don't know exactly, in spite of having read it here and elsewhere too. The whole description is almost to the extent of being absurd. That is Angirisopakhyanam. There are various things to it that Agni, because who was it? Brihaspati? Who was it? Yeah, the sage Angiras, he was so versed in meditation that he started shining like Agni, fire. And Agni thought that why should I be there when there is this Angiras, sage Angiras? He is himself like a fire. So I better retire. And it said that Agni disappeared. And Angiras had to go and convince him, no, he has a role to play. Like some such CP stories. And the story of Kumara, Skandolpatti. And after that, there is another Parvam. It is called Draupadi Satyabhama Sammadam. Bharata some time back had said before Markandeya came that the Yadavas, including Sri Krishna and Satyabhama, had paid a visit to the Pandavas, and it was then that Markandeya came. Krishna, in the beginning, took part in the discussion, and this Parvam is about Draupadi and Satyabhama, where Satyabhama asked Draupadi, how do you manage 5 husbands? This is again, he says, to me a silly chapter. The question and how Draupadi explained that how she manages 5 husbands. It didn't appeal to me. And this is a small chapter, Parvam. And now we go into what is called Ghoshayatra Parvam, which is quite famous in Mahabharata. Ghosha is a name for cattle posts. That is, in Malayalam, what we call Tolutha, English, maybe cattle sheds. It's the Duryodhana, Shaguni and Karna with a large army went to Dvaitavana, where Pandavas were, in the pretext of inspecting the cattle post there, the cattle belonging to them. So Shakuni played a devious way. He asked one of the man looking after cattle there to come and report that there are problems there, so they should go and inspect. And he reported that directly to Dhritarashtra, and it was then they discussed. It was Shakuni and Karna who thought about this idea. They should go to near where Pandavas are and should show off. They should go well decorated, wearing rich clothes and ornaments, and going with a large army, in larger number of chariots and many people on horseback, elephants, to show off their wealth. And Duryodhana knew that he couldn't get permission from his father, because the moment he mentioned Dvaitavanam, Dhritarashtra will remember that it is where Pandavas are. So he said, no, you can't go anywhere where Pandavas are. So that is why the first part of reporting there is problem. And then the Shaguni and Karna going and telling him that there is a need to go and inspect the cattle, and convincing him that there is a case. And they promised Dhritarashtra that they wouldn't go anywhere where Pandavas are. So Dhritarashtra half-heartedly, reluctantly gave permission. And they go to the Dvaitavanam, and my God, my time is far past. So I stop now and we continue next day. Namaskaram.